Say that one more time for me.
I don't know. It's Christmas. It's vibe season. The
Dude, it's
snow is on the ground.
yeah, dude, it's live from inside of a blizzard. Like,
It feels like Chicago.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Also, happy
Hello, everyone.
Hanukkah.
Happy
It's
holidays, etc., whatever
yeah,
you celebrate.
yeah. Happy every holiday. Happy all of them.
You welcome
Uh,
them all.
yeah, we're into this. Oh my God, how's your week been? Have you been keeping it low key with the winter?
Yeah, I've
The
been
winter
chilling, dude.
storm
It's
happening. What the fuck?
big storm, multiple inches.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I don't plan on going outside
Oh,
anytime soon.
it's currently a degree outside.
Oh boy.
I opened the back door by my stove, and I was
Yeah.
just like, there's no way in hell, no way on this fucking planet you're gonna get me to take a step out there. But I'll open my door.
Just let a little cool breeze in.
Yeah.
Feel something.
And I was like, Jesus. It's like at least it's gonna be a little bit warmer on Christmas Eve.
Look, I'm just waiting for the tweets to say global warming's fake because it's cold out.
Oh my
It's my
God.
favorite part of the season.
Oh my God. Not the Christmas like.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's all right. It's all
like,
right.
you know, my favorite is that the office is shut down. So like,
I respect that, honestly.
yeah. So like last week I was sick, so I didn't go in. I haven't been to the office in 2 weeks, and now I'm off for 2 weeks.
Life is good.
Yeah, but like low key though, I'm actually working on something that like I had a relatively busy week though, all things considered,
I
and
was
like
gonna
good
say you
busy.
started a project, didn't you?
Yeah, good busy. It was a really cool one.
So what's going on?
I can't say anything. NDA'd.
Oh yeah, legal reasons.
Yeah, NDA'd out the ass.
Look, I'll tell everyone right now. No, let me stop.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say I'm robbing from the bank, but I
Yeah,
don't even want to
no.
joke about
Oh no,
that.
that I crowdsourced information on. Have you seen what people put on the internet and then go on and do horrible things and they just got away with it?
Yep.
No one's gonna come for me. It
Look,
doesn't
we
matter
were
how many.
literally,
Doesn't matter how many times I retweet like the front of Nick Fuentes' house. Like,
bro. I, I, I literally we just said this before we started recording. We were just like, we gotta stop self-reporting. People have to stop self-reporting themselves.
like,
It
yeah,
is too obvious. You are showing your real self.
I don't care. I don't care. What are you gonna do? Like,
It's funny
arrest me?
because
It's
like
snowing outside. That's illegal.
I was literally just saying because like I don't even want to joke about like, oh, I'm gonna rob the bank. For people who don't know where I work, you'll figure it out. But like I go into work with a ski mask every day.
Yeah.
And someone's like, oh, that's really smart, that's really dope. And it's just like sometimes, just gotta keep the security guards aware of what's going on. Keep them on
Yeah,
their
you're a
toes,
drill. You're like you're the
If I didn't walk in with a pea coat and dress shoes, you might just think I'm still at the joint.
you could just be like throwing it back to the old days. A lot of banks in Chicago have been robbed of trash cans.
Gonna say, hey, this is your field. We're not talking about
Shut
mobsters
up! Like
here.
just because I had ravioli before doesn't mean
All right,
you can
let's
throw
not be
my
racist.
heritage in my face. It's Italiophobic.
Look, in reality, the gangs and the mobs, we're all family, so
We're all family.
we're all the
We're all
same.
comrades. I was gonna think of something else. What is going on? Oh my
Uh,
God!
we're here. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, welcome
We
to
had
the
a
show,
very
everybody.
stupid intro, but
Doesn't
today we're going
matter.
to be discussing
Good stuff.
Brandon's event.
Yeah, Merry
Um,
Gibbsmiss, everybody. That's gonna be the name of this episode.
big event.
Yeah,
I'm
Merry
kind
Gibbs.
of I'm upset I didn't go to it. I should have went.
Dude, it was something. It was something I was able to go to. So Merry Gibbsmiss was a 2-night event. It was Freddie Gibbs at the Metro with Chris Crack opening, and fuck, it was something. I was lucky enough to go with my girlfriend. Shout out Rachel and like her friends. Shout out Nick, Nora, Joe, and Charles. So it was a
Oh, yeah.
good time. And the Metro's like 3 blocks from my house. So
It works
like,
perfectly.
dude, it was so great being like
Don't self-report.
Like, no, I'm not gonna self-report. It was like we were in coat check, and like the coat check line was like long as fuck, but it was moving.
Oh yeah.
And I looked at my watch, and then I looked at it again when we got home, and it was 15 minutes. It was like,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
so
take
good.
long. You literally just pregame, walk over, do
That's
your
that's what we did. That's what we did, and I was,
thing.
good lord, I was.
We had a lot of fun.
I was. Let's just say I was matching Freddie Gibbs's vibe. That'll be my my little.
Considering
tease for
what I
that.
know about Freddie Gibbs,
Yeah.
he's in the business of selling, so
Yeah.
can only imagine.
All right. So, up top, I think we should probably just tell people no show next Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will be doing a end of the year special that will be going out either the first, ideally the first, possibly the second.
You know, one or two.
Yeah. And we're moving the video. It'll be available audio only, of course. And then we will be back that Thursday, which is I think only like 2 or 3 days later, just covering everything that happens between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm betting from this week that we're in for a cool couple of weeks. I think this is why it's good to like wait until the end of the year to talk about your end of the year stuff, because first off, you don't forget anything, and
Big facts.
second off, like the beginning of the year is like a really slow time for this stuff. You know, like this year was kind of crazy because we got big releases like in January. And, you know, top 10 albums for me released in January this year.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's not the usual. So
it's interesting that you brought that up because that was going to be one of the points that I discussed later. The second part of the podcast is going to be talking about Herbert, the recent album by Absol, and I think releasing albums around Christmas, I didn't realize how serious it is. I honestly think it does play into like the impact that it has, but we'll dive into that.
Yeah, there definitely is a thing about, and we can maybe, because spoiler alert, not a whole lot to talk about this week.
We'll
be lucky if this is an hour and a half. But then again, you know us.
It's a big vibe. It's Christmas. We're here for family, friends, good times. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah, all of that.
I mean, what I'll say that if we jump into the news as we normally do, it really is not much going on. NBA YoungBoy, I just found out, is releasing his 8th project of the year.
Purvis,
Brandon, I'm not happy.
Who cares?
I'm not happy. I don't care. I know. I'm just saying. But
it's not like he's real.
It's about the principle. Like, to me, obviously, like, neither one of us listens to NBA YoungBoy like that. I've listened to a few albums. I respect him as an artist. I don't think he's, like, annoying or anything like that.
Yeah, no, there are a lot worse than NBA YoungBoy. But also not my cup of tea.
Exactly. But, like, 8 projects in a year it's illegal. I'm just going to say it's illegal. This is not okay.
Yeah.
This is I kind of talked about it on another episode, but like the idea of someone releasing singles too soon after an album, that alone pisses me off. Because I don't like the concept of that. Deluxe albums are fine, but like releasing singles right after a project, I don't like it. This is like that times 10.
You think so? Like just like putting stuff out right away?
There's so many artists out there that like we talk about. Don't get me wrong. Gucci Mane, absolute legend to the industry. About 20 too many albums have been released under his name.
Yeah, definitely. And you even have
Not Waka Flocka. Chief Keef.
Chief Keef, definitely.
Like, come on.
Even Waka Flocka, though. Waka Flocka has quite the output.
Yeah.
And, like, it trickles down to people who, like, are from that ilk, but, like, maybe on the surface aren't like that. Like, how many, like, low-grade 2 Chainz albums do we get? It's not on the same scale, but, like, I think it's kind of...
Right, yeah.
It's one, sometimes 2 a year, like...
I mean that is true, but like, it just makes me think. Even the people who are fans, I'm not gonna say like, oh, are they really fans? But like, how much do you really dive into these albums?
I mean, I'm
I
sure
feel
it's a
like you
lot.
play it a couple times, then you just move on because like there's
I,
gonna be another one next month.
I think that's almost the case, though. Like, it kind of has to be. I mean, and I don't say this as like a knock against it because I think music that's just made for the sake of expression, whether as quote unquote expression is in this case, right? Like that's just the way it goes, right? He doesn't make anything that has any kind of lasting impact, which is fine. But if anything, I respect him picking it up from the other end. Because like if you're not going to release stuff with any staying power, you got to be able to release at that same quality consistently. And
Just
his
constantly dumping.
yeah, and like look, his fans don't seem disappointed. It's not like people always talk about NBA YoungBoy album sucking. People either don't even realize they're coming out or love them.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's
You
not like
know?
there's much of a middle ground.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Now,
who is it really for? That's where you need to.
yeah, I mean, I
Okay,
think he certainly has a core fan base,
he does.
And look, I'm once again not a huge fan right here, but I real recognize real. You know what I mean?
Interesting. You know what? If you say that, I will give it some leeway. But I just, as someone who, and I don't want to sound like either biased or like sound like a smart ass or something like that, but like I feel like a lot of the people that you and I listen to, we like the albums because of its deeper concept and its like
Yeah,
ability to
yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
connect
Yeah, and
to
like
a deeper
even
meaning.
yeah, we like at least some substance. Not everything
Right.
has to be Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers,
Exactly.
but like, you know, what about Forever Story? What about Ghetto Gods? What about Melt My Eyes? Like those are all
hmm
very like deep projects that also just work as like throw this on and hang out. Like,
hmm
those two things are not mutually exclusive. And like, if you listen to Atmosphere, you can get the other side of it where it's just very boring but lyrically very good. Like
It's just something in the background.
it's just
Wow.
it's all substance. It's like someone
Mhm.
rhyming a term paper at you and it's like, "No, stop."
I mean, in a sense, like even thinking about it like
Like
that,
ultra
where like,
backpackery types, like people who go like the NBA YoungBoy is on like one end of the spectrum and these guys are on the other end.
hmm
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. We're vibed. It's Christmas.
yeah, I was about to say this episode is not going to have any structure.
No, I'm not. I mean, like maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Because like there was one real big piece of news that I think is genuinely kind of big,
Okay.
and then honestly, for me, it means a lot. And that's the news of Pusha T. You want to break it down?
Yeah. There's been a couple of different articles I've been receiving over the last week. One, Pusha T seems to be stepping down as president of Good Music, which is pretty big news.
Yeah, that
I
is
feel
big
like,
news. I mean, we talk about like which labels are in and out, but like I don't think any is as shambles as Good Music is.
absolutely, yeah. Good Music is probably the lowest tier of producing groups you're going to get right now in
Yeah,
labels.
which is crazy.
Um,
Which is
it's solely
crazy.
because of the leader. It is solely because of the leader. And like you said, it's crazy because you know where Good Music have been. You know what they've done. You know what they can do. But
Without the strong hand of people with creative visions. I mean, was It's Almost Dry on Good Music? I think it was.
Almost Dry, I believe, was co-released. It was Good Music and something else that I remember. But yes, Good Music was a part of
Yeah,
it.
but I personally I like this because
Oh yeah, I love
I
it.
think I think the right move right now is to get away. It was co-release Good Music and Def Jam.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Good Music is going through the fallout of like a complete implosion of their creative mastermind.
I was literally going to say it is a clear top-down failure,
It's
and
like
there's
if you
nothing to really
think,
hide about it.
like if you think about like the labels as like a solar system with like the key linchpin artists like in the second, like as like the sun, and the planets around it being the other artists, like
Jesus, bro.
the the Good Music just went black hole. Like there's no more shit there anymore. Like it is
There is nothing in the middle that's holding it together.
like it is just completely like. And look, I was pleasantly surprised by a Big Sean appearance that we'll talk about this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that all hope is lost for the artist on Good Music.
That is one thing that
I'll say that.
Yeah.
As poorly positioned as the label is right now, I do not think the artists are doomed by any stretch.
I mean, the majority of the artists themselves have already, in my opinion, surpassed what good music is. You have Kid Cudi, you have Pusha T, you have Big Sean.
Kid Cudi's been gone though, hasn't he? Or was Kids See Ghost on Good Music?
Let me see.
I'll check that right now. Yeah.
I mean, even still, even if Kids See Ghost is one of the last things, at that point, and even before then, arguably, each one of the artists I just named, all of them have their own careers. Everyone knows who Pusha T is. Everyone knows who Kid Cudi is. No Big Sean.
Yeah.
When we went to go see Big Sean at Lala, we was like, "This is a headliner. How is he not?"
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Because like what's crazy is like I'm gonna push back on that slightly, just to add nuance. Because like when we saw him at Lala, it was like seeing a headliner because he brought out the crowd. He put on a headliner quality show. That's for fucking
every single song was
every single hit
a banger.
He performed the shit out of every single one. He brought out Janelle Monáe. Not Janelle Monáe. What the fuck? Janae Aiko.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Please, don't throw things at me. But it was.
We know what you meant. Honest mistake.
Stick and move. You brought out a great thing. But at the same time, I look at that. I know who came after him, J. Cole, and I'm like, that's the headline.
Okay, yes. Yeah. That is clearly, in comparison, yes, that is a headliner. But even still, I would push him up higher towards that level. You have people, you were comparing him to like YG. That show sucked.
Yeah, YG was nothing special. I did not hate YG, but like, yeah, no, it was nothing special. Big Sean blew him out of the water. Like
it wasn't even close. Yeah,
dude, I'll be honest. Like I loved Denzel Curry, but like I'm shocked to say that Big Sean and Denzel were like at the exact same level.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but even still, we like Denzel Curry a lot, so that's.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair comparison.
No, what I mean by that is that like Big Sean is not someone who I think would be at that level.
I see. Okay.
That's what I meant. Like to me, just because like Big Sean, like don't get me wrong, like Detroit 2, excellent. Detroit back in the day, very good. Like I
love I Decided personally. I love that album. I'm sorry, I really do.
Whatever.
But even still, the whole discography. Everyone knows who Big Sean is, and he's made a name for himself. Yeah. So, like, good music in itself, it almost didn't need to exist, and I don't want to, like, just cancel it out. But I think it's at that point, it's one of the rare labels that
I definitely
so historically good, it's okay.
I definitely think that all the artists on Good Music,
they can have their own label.
I think at this point, 100%, they could make a label as good as Good Music, but what I do think is I do think they kind of needed Good Music. I do think they needed that boost to their platform.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. And like the historically, it's done it well.
Yeah. But I'm just excited, and to hear that he's working on new music again.
Yep.
Now,
Solo
okay.
album and mixtape.
So, question for you: how do you want those two things to differ? Like, if you hear like, okay, Pusha T solo album, I think we have a good idea of what comes into your head, right? Basically, what we got the last 3 times.
I was literally about to say.
Yeah, but what comes to your mind when you hear Pusha T mixtape?
It's actually a really good question. If you're asking what I wish would happen, obviously I would want to see a whole new style to Pusha T. The best and worst thing about Pusha T, I believe it's the same thing because it comes as a double-edged sword. But he has perfected
Yeah,
one specific sound to the point where he can master it. He can alter it very slightly, and it still sounds brand new. Still sounds
yeah.
fresh
No,
and successful.
he has a lane, and
Right.
that hasn't bit him in the ass yet.
Exactly.
But like,
That's what I was
it
about to
could
say.
like one day it will like, and
That's what I'm saying. He's very consistent.
yeah, and I think like that's the main thing that keeps Pusha T from being like in my favorite of all time. Uh, which he is rising.
Hmm.
Like over the last few years, he's rising in who are my favorites. But I think like just knowing how singular his style is,
Exactly.
you could describe it as focused, which I wouldn't hate you for, but it is very the one thing. It's just that however he does it, this is the artistry of it. I haven't gotten sick of it yet. Like I
Exactly.
think,
That's what I'm saying.
not at all. It's almost high up there for my end of the year list.
I mean, like I say, it's a double-edged sword because he's very consistent, so it never really misses. But
Yeah,
there is a threat. Obviously,
yeah,
it's not as
yeah.
bad as like
There's an impending
exactly
possible downside to this.
like
That's
the
basically it.
obvious example would be like the baby. Obviously, it wouldn't be to that scale, but we always use the baby as like, okay, this is one singular style. How long is this really gonna last?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah. Anyway, what I wish would happen in the mixtape is that he is more experimental and kind of changes some things up. Maybe take a different approach or a whole new topic, as he is as we say, commercialized version of the Gazella people.
yeah.
Um,
He's like, I mean, yeah, he kind of is the most mainstream version of like that hardcore hip hop,
right.
kind of lane.
So obviously, I would want something more experimental, but if it's all just bangers, I'm still gonna take it.
Yeah, no. Personally, what I would really like is going back to like the Dat Piff days, the golden era of mixtapes, right? What
Okay.
I would like is if it was just like maybe 8 songs off like some of the best beats from other artists from like the last like 3-4 years.
Ooh.
You remember how artists used to do that all the time? Little Wayne did that
Yep.
all the time.
Little Wayne did that. The most recent one that I like is Smino's.
Yeah,
Smino did that with his little EP on SoundCloud.
yeah. Exactly. Dude, I would like that. I would love. Could you imagine? Just let me theory craft for a second. Let me if
You
you
about to
just
go
heard
into a deep lane.
if you just heard Neighbors and it was Pusha T, like
Jesus Christ. Nah. Could
you
no
just
way.
imagine that? Would you just imagine how that would feel for you?
No, yeah, I get it.
You
I
would
do like
become a
that.
different kind of being.
I will absolutely take that as my answer as well now. Because we know how we feel about that song.
Yeah, literally, like I can't think of a single song that I wouldn't want to hear him on. Like Jesus Christ, could you imagine him on an Alfredo beat? God damn, god damn.
Go. There you go.
Yeah,
There needs to be a song with all of them together. There
yeah.
has to be.
Well, there's Palm Olive. Palm Olive.
I want something new
Yeah,
with Pusha T, Freddie Gibbs, West Side Gun. Throw them all in a
yeah.
circle.
Benny the Butcher. Like, oh no,
Action
he won't.
Bronson,
He won't.
all of them.
Yeah, Action Bronson, ASAP
That'll be
Rocky.
the ultimate cocaine album.
Yeah, that's all I want. I just want I just
selling
want
to all demographics.
I just
Everyone's
I
getting
just want
shit.
an album called Cocaine and the artist to be Cocaine
Will you
and
when you
have
buy the CD, it has cocaine in the
I don't
CD.
know about that. That once again, you're the one who brings up self-reporting. I don't know about that. Kimosabi. Uh I just think if we had a bunch of like the most cocained out artists of all time.
Jesus Christ.
My God. Rick
All
Ross.
right.
uh
I
I
need to go
don't
watch
know.
Scarface.
God, I love Scarface. I
Anyway,
do love that movie. All right.
enough about the
All right.
white
No.
powder.
Yeah. So
Um,
this is a small one, but were you able to get down with the Frank Ocean re-releasing Blonde on vinyl?
Brandon, I got it. I bought it.
My God, I'm so
I
fucking jealous. I'm so
it,
fucking jealous.
I almost did. I'm serious. I saw it at first and I was like, maybe not. I don't really use my vinyl. But man, I'm
No,
so glad I picked this up.
it is one of those. If I was not wrecked by the holidays, if it dropped last year, I would have got next year. I would have gotten it. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's so good.
It is the vinyl of vinyls. That's why I
Absolutely.
was ultimately like, okay, of
Even
all the vinyls that I
for
have, this is the one that I should have.
even for like a display piece, you know,
Yeah, that's what I'm
like
saying. Just to
vinyls.
have it.
Yeah, vinyls are like books in a way, in that like they're a good thing to just like display and add like a personalized homey touch to like whatever you have going on in your home.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It is perfect in all the sense.
I
Somebody
was
was like, it flips for like 500. I was like, nope, keeping
couldn't
it.
do that. Yeah, no, it's blunt. It's worth more than that. Like
It might, and I feel like we've had this conversation before, but Brandon, it might honestly be my most listened to album of all time.
yeah,
It might be.
yeah, no,
I I
it,
think of that. I think of like acid rap, but like
it's up there for me.
this,
It's up there for me. Yeah,
Jesus.
no, this After Hours since it came out. Fuck. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy,
Of course.
Run the Jewels too. Those gotta and Blonde. Those gotta be my most listened to albums of all time. Oh, if you include like all the rock stuff from like my childhood, probably like
Oh
Toxicity
yeah,
by
that's
System
true.
of a Down and Chuck by Sum 41 and Master of Puppets, Metallica. They're probably high up there.
Shout out to your dad, probably putting you on like when you were
My
younger,
my dad
Charles.
did not listen to that kind of stuff. My dad put me
No.
on. No, my dad believe it or not, and he would be weird to say this, but my dad did more for hip hop than anything else. Because like
Oh
his old record collection, he didn't have like heavy metal and stuff. Like he was more into like Rush and like the more trippy stuff,
yeah.
which I appreciate because that's the kind of stuff that like in general I like more. But you know, one of the albums he had, like the two albums he had, I listened to the most were Thriller and Raising Hell, Run DMC.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
yeah. So
I get
you know,
that.
my dad mostly listens to like easy listening, old time greaseball bullshit, which is great. I love that music, but like
Mm.
that's what it is. Like,
No, I got you.
oh my god. Now we got an important birthday coming up for a big album for our upbringing.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, the Cool by
the
Lupe Fiasco turning 15 years old.
15 years.
That's insane to me.
I was 10, 11 years old. A
Yeah,
kid.
I was 15. That was like the halfway point of my life.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was 2008, 2007, one of
Cool.
those.
Super cool. Um,
2007. Yeah, that's 5. That makes sense. Uh
Jesus Christ.
yeah. And I probably got into this album. It probably took me like a year and a half, 2 years to get into this album, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when it came out, I wasn't super duper into rap. I liked Kanye and like Lupe a little bit, but once 2008, 2009 is like when I really got into Lupe, and this album had been out for a little bit. It was right.
Mm.
It was like 6 months before Lasers came out. That's when I really got into Lupe.
Okay, you got a pretty commercialized version of Lupe
I mean,
for like lasers, at least compared to the rest of the stuff.
Lasers, yeah, but Lasers was not my first impression of Lupe.
I got you.
First off, I like Lasers. I think it's as far as
Oh,
commercial rap
yeah.
albums go, I think it's way better than most people's. And low key, if you're asking me to pick some Lupe Fiasco songs, it might be in the lower tier, but not his most recent album. His most recent album is incredible, but the
I
few
love
before
it.
that were very dense, and they're incredible. But it's like, fuck, this is a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing we've talked about before with Lupe. It's like it's really nice to every once in a while take a like step back and listen to some really like lyrical, deeper meaning
Yeah,
messages. But like it just takes a lot out of you.
yeah, and sometimes like it goes too far in the other direction, in my
Mhm,
opinion. Now, I still really like those albums. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that like they're a little lopsided in my opinion. That's all.
mhm.
But fuck,
But,
man, the Cool is it, absolute classic album.
but yeah, I was literally about to say, especially with Lupe, I unfortunately was too young. But
Yeah,
like when I came back to listen to this, like understanding the poetry and Free Chili, Superstar, how that blew up. Hip Hop Saved My Life, what a like personalized
dude.
song.
I
Little Weapon, absolute banger,
when hip hop saved my life when I saw it live at
bro.
Riot Fest last year, I cried.
I I get it, honestly. I do.
Yeah, I cried. Like it was something. Like he was playing in the pouring rain. It was very emotional. Uh,
Hey.
Go Go Gadget. Is that on here? Is that the one?
Yeah, Go Go
Oh,
Gadget's on
oh
there.
my
Go Go
god.
Gadget Flow.
Yeah, Paris and Tokyo, obviously. Like,
Dumb It Down. I'm
yeah,
not dumbing down nothing. Come
yeah.
on now.
My thing is that like, and this is something I really appreciate about Lupe Fiasco, and like half of it is like very obvious, something everyone does, but I think there's another half that I don't think people like take the second step for, and that is, yes, like he has never dumbed down his music before, right?
Mm,
But he has put like really crowd pleasing pop, not pop songs, but like pop centric. I think of things like Superstar and Paris Tokyo off this album, right?
hmm.
They're not dumbed down by any stretch, but they're songs with big choruses and catchy lines, and like they play on the radio,
Yeah,
and
I was about
like
to say it's
my
radio music.
mom knows the song Superstar. Like, and hey, I don't put that against him because the lyrical quality never takes a hit in order to get to that place. So what's
Hmm.
not to love? To me, I think best both worlds. But I do think that I think he deserves a little bit more flowers for just being able to uh, do everything.
Yeah, I fully agree. Personally, I put Lupe up there in some of the like top five Chicago artists, even higher
Yeah.
maybe.
So,
Because
question for you: Do you we especially in the last couple of weeks we had a bit of a moment where we talked about how important Chief Keef was to like just music for like an entire generation, and like that's just true.
hmm.
But my question for you is this: Is it me, or is there an entire wave marked by Lupe Fiasco in Chicago after him? Like, think about someone like Saba. Think about someone. I know he's not from here, but he came up in the scene here. Think of someone like Smino,
Yeah,
or even Chance and Vic. Like, are
no
these
name, all of them.
like? I do feel like these people are in the best ways. I mean this in the highest of compliments to everyone involved. I think like they are downriver of Lupe Fiasco.
I think that's totally fair to say. I think he's one of. It's hard to say like pioneers because I feel like more traditional rap in terms of when people talk the 80s or 90s, it's more message based, sometimes more political in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, so it's hard to say he was like a pioneer, like he brought it up new, but I think he does play a significant role model in making a deeper, more important message around black growth,
Yeah.
but making it cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Like,
no, definitely. Like I don't know if you ever heard the song "Bitch Bad,"
mhm.
but it was pretty good.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Where like he made being smart actually cool. There's so many times when people are growing up in life and like if you're like one of the smart A kids, you kind of look at, oh, you're a nerd, you're lame, like whatever. Oh, you read books, that's weird. And like people kind of shun that and like make fun of like people being smart. And, like he's one of the few artists
Yeah.
that uses his intelligence and education in
Yeah.
a cool way where it's acceptable. And that's what you get some of the artists that you mentioned where it's just like not just Chicago, but like all
It,
over
yeah.
like America and the world. You have Mike Jenkins, you have Toby Lou, you have oh my goodness, like IDK. I can go on for hours. Mike Jenkins. There's so many people that just kind of blossom from the same style of like Lupe.
Yeah. No, and it's something else, man. And I'm happy that with the release of Film Music and Zion, I'm happy that he's getting reevaluated again.
Hmm.
And I think the current culture of like people putting a high value on substance, maybe even to the point of like being reductive in a way. I think he is an artist who is primed to get a second wave, and he deserves it.
Hmm.
You know, like the culture's in the right place for the second wave. He's in the right place for the second wave. Like I hope it's coming, and I think that's what we're gonna get. I
Yeah.
think like the number one thing I want in the world is something of the same quality as drill music and Zion
Mhm.
in the on the grandest scale.
Yeah.
Like with the level of production of lasers.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be really dope.
yeah. You know. Huh. All right, should we move on to our first subjects?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
All right, so I was lucky enough to go to the Freddie Gibbs concert on Saturday this past week. And dude, I gotta say, he knows how to put on a show. He is the perfect definition of like an artist who takes hip hop back to its roots on stage. Of like he's kind of here to rock a party, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's one thing because something something that I think can happen to us. It certainly happened to me a little bit, and this show is helping me. Having gone through the show helped me realize it. Uh, is that you get desensitized to like the really large scale productions that you see at like a Lollapalooza at a stadium tour at
Wow.
shit like this, right?
Mhm.
As fantastic as Big Sean and J Cole were at Lala, right? Ultimately a different thing. It's a big outside tour. It is more similar to any other artist. It doesn't harken back to the spirit of like this is a party. This is gonna be a thing where like the the MC, originally is gonna have a direct connection with the audience, right? And just being at this venue, which is on a smaller side, just fuck, man, it felt great to be back in the heart of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
yeah. So first and foremost, I have to shout out the opener. He's a local artist. His name is Chris Crack, and
Okay.
this guy knocked my fucking socks off. My jaw
Really?
was on the floor watching this guy perform. This guy's got fucking
Okay.
everything. I've dived into his music thoroughly after after the show. He shouted us out too, but that's not why I'm saying this. Uh Dude, he has is the complete package. He's a lyrical guy, kind of in the vein of a Saba, or in that kind of lane.
Yeah.
His production tends to be a lot of soul beats, a lot of chopped up, slowed down soul beats and samples. So it's really hitting right now because there are other
Man.
That's a style that I am happy to listen to in a way that doesn't turn my fucking stomach. And he just fucking killed it. He had this amazing energy he brought to the entire show. And
yeah, I'm pulling him up right now.
Dude,
this looks
fantastic.
really dope.
He's pretty. He only has 2 songs over 1 million views.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting recognition, but I'm excited for him to blow up more. And I'm telling you, I think this is kind of like what we have to do. We have to keep our eyes on these shows at like the Metro, and Subterranean, and all these places. We gotta try at least once a month to go see something local.
That's actually what I was going to bring up to you. There's been a new development I got to tell you about. One of my.
Are you gonna do it on air?
Actually, yeah. Let me pull up the photo real quick. Now that you just reminded me, one of my coworkers, her husband is really deep in the music industry.
Yeah.
And he is trying to bring a stronger hip hop influence back into Chicago. And also just get people like off the streets, stop doing dangerous stuff, etc., etc.
Yeah.
She is inviting us to go to, where is it? Hold on. I gotta see where this is. It's like this big popular studio on the south side near Chinatown that like all the famous artists have, like Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, like all of them have recorded in the studio there. And so he just had his first thing this week, and there was a lot of local people there, and like everyone was like just kind of networking, collaborating, etc., etc. But they plan on doing it monthly, so definitely want to like hopefully meet some new people there.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. Why are you telling me now in the middle of the Freddie Gibbs concert review? Like
he just reminded, because you said local artists, and I was like, low-key, we do have some more stuff going on. We're trying to find some more.
Good, cool. People. Like glad to know that.
If you know local people, right, fans, if you have local people that are like, you want to tell us about, please.
Yeah, cool. Love that. Love that little lore drop right in the middle of. Yeah. But anyway. But yeah, no. I gotta tell you, I'll say this, and this maybe a little bit of spoilers for a couple things in the future, but I've been listening to this guy's music, Chris Crack, and he has 2 albums that came out this year, and they are something. And I don't know if either of them are my 10 favorite of the year, but I think he might have a track come up in my top 10.
Okay, bet.
Dude,
I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm looking at the album covers, and these look amazing.
Dude, he's the truth. He's the truth.
Okay.
He also has like a lot of energy. You can kind of see it in his music because he is almost kind of like someone who releases an album every year and has a bunch of songs that are like 1.5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So there is definitely a SoundCloud vibe he has too, which is nice. I think it's a nice compliment to everying else. Because he has bars, he has soul samples. Hang tight. Let's finish the episode, then we can get to the end. So yeah, no, 10 out of 10. Could not recommend seeing this guy enough. Had no idea who he was when I walked into the theater, and was beyond enthralled to see him play.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then we got to get to King Gibbs himself.
So how was his presence? Did he tell any jokes?
Not really. He was drunk. He was very, very clearly drunk.
That doesn't surprise me all that
Right?
much.
Now, I'll say this. He put on a great show. He had one of the most interesting walk off the stage moments I've ever seen.
Okay.
And he also had a crew of like 40 people on the stage, including a bunch of people where it's like, I look more like I'd hang out with Freddie Gibbs than that guy. Like,
and this was his like crew, or like he was
I
bringing
have
people
no
on
idea.
the stage.
They came out from backstage with him, and it was easily 40 people. Right?
Jesus.
He came out. He had a ski mask on until he grabbed the mic. He put it on like before he left. Like,
nice.
Dude was moving in.
Yeah, it was moving on the low, in the shadows.
But he started with Dark Hearted from the last album. Mm-hmm. And apparently I had no idea, but this is the first live show he's done since he dropped that album.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was very cool.
That's really dope.
This was, one of my favorite albums of the year.
That's a unique experience.
Yeah, so being able to see the very first show, and the fact that it is something like a little bit more low-key to me, just kind of makes it seem a little special. I know he's not from Chicago, he's from Gary, but I don't know, man. It kind of feels like he has some local affinity here, because I know he's a Bears fan, so he's got to have some kind of thing.
I was about to say, he's got connections there.
Yeah,
we'll claim him if he wants to be claimed.
Yeah. And, yeah, dude, the thing that blew me away the most is he played mostly old stuff. He did not play a whole lot from the new album.
In terms of the crowd response, do you think people were like vibing with the song selection? Did people know the lyrics?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was, I would definitely say, like, if we're talking about like Pinata, Bandana, Alfredo, the songs from like his mainstream career. Yeah.
Right.
His golden years. Yeah. That stuff, the crowd, everyone was in sync with. And I'll be honest, like, it was a chiller vibe in the crowd than I thought it would be. I was shocked at the fact that, like, it didn't seem like anyone was smoking. I did not see anyone smoking around me.
That is actually surprising.
Yeah, because I didn't.
I feel like you always, especially at a concert like this.
I drank a ton before I got there. I am relying on secondhand testimony for some of this, and some of this is kind of me reading the Stones a little bit and just trying to be like, okay, is this actually what happened? Who knows?
All right, self-report.
I'm sorry.
The topic of this week is self-reporting.
Sorry.
When you listen to this podcast, I want you to have a deep conversation within yourself. Everyone realizes when you're self-reporting and prevent it. But anyway.
But yeah, no. I was just shocked at everything, at how chill and low-key kind of respectful the crowd was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask, though.
Yeah.
Because demographics does matter.
Yeah.
White, black, Hispanic.
About half and half.
Okay.
About half white.
Girl, guy.
Mostly dudes. About, I would say maybe...
Fair.
Maybe 70-30, 60-40.
I'm assuming mid-20s to mid-30s.
Yeah. Not a lot of youngsters.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's about as expected,
and like a lot of older people.
Yeah.
Now it's not a huge venue, and the other thing that's cool about the Metro, everything is cash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like beer is only like $5-6, but you have to have cash. You have to have cash for coat checks. So we stopped and we got a bunch of cash beforehand.
Okay.
But yeah, we were super close. Everyone was super respectful. It was super easy to get in and out of the crowd if you had to use the bathroom.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's like the most important thing.
Yeah. And like Freddie was maybe 5 minutes late.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, he was maybe 5 minutes late.
That's nothing.
And then and he probably played over about that exact much.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Now, is there still a curfew?
I don't think so.
Wasn't there like 11 p.m. curfew or something because of COVID with like
No, that's been
artists
gone.
and
That's been gone for
okay.
yeah. I would assume so because like as we were leaving, there was a crowd lining up for Smart Bar downstairs.
Well, I meant more towards like, because like performances, for example, I know it was still implemented around Lala. Like Lala literally couldn't go past. I think it was. I don't know the exact time. But
I
like
don't
for
know if
example, 11 p.m.
I don't
They were
think
literally supposed to cut it off.
I think that's a neighborhood thing. I don't think that's a COVID thing.
Interesting. Okay, I might have
Yeah,
to do some research. I don't know.
yeah. It could be. I could be wrong. Like I'm not a genius yet. God,
Okay.
I have a fucking a skyline cam open on my desktop to
Yeah.
like see the storm come in, and it is nasty looking.
Yeah, I was gonna say no one I know is going into work tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen.
Oh, the office is my. I have the day off tomorrow, and I have had the day off tomorrow. No one went into my office like the entire week. Uh,
Well, I get that. I
yeah,
was really about to say like the best part and worst part about having to work from home is like some days you get to work from home, and then it's like some days you have to work from home. You get the benefit of not always having to go into the office, but like you
yeah,
don't really get as much leeway to just like not be able to work.
yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, one last thing I want to talk about uh before we wrap up on Freddie Gibbs is he kind of so he played about as much over as he did was late, so maybe like 5 6
hmm
minutes. You know, which hey, I think that's great. You know, whatever. And he kind of did the thing where he runs off stage kind of suddenly, and
Okay.
then the cheers for and then he's back on for the
The encore
encore
thing.
in like
Yeah.
less than a minute. Like I don't even think we waited a minute for him to come back on to do the encores, right? And
Okay.
then he did like two or three songs for the encore, which was dope. You
Okay.
know, killed it. At the end, he was so drunk he just played BYS from the new album 4 times, and it fucking ran. It did. It was so good. It was so good.
That's the best decision you've ever made.
Yeah. But yeah. So at the end, he did like 3 songs, and then he like ran out, and he
hmm
started like he signed like a bunch of people's stuff like in the front row, like people there with
That's
vinyls
dope.
and shit, and he
Yeah.
signed a bunch of stuff, and then like he kind of left, and he kind of like deuced out in a way where it's like, yeah, now you can't get mad at me. Like now you can get out of here as fast as I need to, because I signed some shit. If you get mad
I'm
at me,
out.
you're the asshole. Like, which I appreciated. So yeah, all in
Okay.
all, like probably my favorite smaller show of the year. Like I would definitely say like even a fraction the size of when we saw Pusha T.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like
That's
a frac.
really small.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it could not have been more than 150 people.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe 200.
Now I'm curious. Obviously, like I'm glad he did it, and most likely the obvious answer is just like, oh, you do it for the fans. But like, there's no way he made anything off of this.
I mean,
So
who
I'm
knows? Because he's
curious.
doing multiple He's doing multiple shows.
I
He
suppose.
uh I don't. It was a small show, but like people perform at the Metro all the time. So and it wasn't super expensive, but like I don't know what the deal is. You know,
Now is
maybe they pay him a whole lot to come, and then they keep
oh
the ticket sales and like the drink and the coat check and all that shit.
oh good point.
You know.
That is a good point. I'm curious. Is it bigger than the House of Blues?
Oh, I haven't been to the House of Blues in a long time, but I'm gonna guess no. The House of Blues is definitely bigger.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm trying
but
to
this
get
is
a picture of how big it might be because I know Ari Lennox is going to House of Blues.
Yeah, I haven't been to the House of Blues in a long time, but God, I'm really trying to. I'm really struggling to think of another place that's like as small, right? Like
The place
the
we always go
Oregon is
to, where is
closest.
Brockhampton?
Oregon,
Yeah, yeah, Oregon.
Oregon's still like Oregon is still like maybe not a fraction of the size, maybe half the size of the Aragon, but yeah,
That
like
is not big.
yeah. Well,
That is
it's
very
a second
intimate.
it's a second floor in Wrigleyville. Like, what do you expect?
No, yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's not meant to be a shot, but yeah,
and
that is very small.
it's super old school, super
Hmm.
old school, which is kind of its charm.
Okay. I
Yeah,
have to check it out.
but needless to say, like you definitely need to catch a show at the Metro just for the Chicago history of it all.
Right.
Uh, and yeah, no, I, I would like to see Freddie Gibbs on a larger stage. I think definitely could, but yeah, seeing him in this context was incredible.
Okay. But that's what we do. So there's stuff to make, but I'm lazy.
I got a
And
frozen
cross.
pizza. I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. What kind?
Home run in sausage and bacon,
Ooh, okay.
double swine,
I
double
I
swine.
prefer pepperoni and bacon personally. But
Pepperoni's good. Pepperoni's good. I never liked pepperoni because I thought it just had a weird taste, and I just much preferred sausage. I've
really,
come around. I like pepperoni now, but I still contend that sausage is superior.
how about like okay, but actually, and not just any old place. Think about like yolk or like something higher scale breakfast place.
If we're just talking about bacon versus what's the other one that we were just talking about?
So it's either bacon or sausage for
Sausage?
breakfast.
Oh, like for breakfast?
Just like a
No, because
gourmet
that's two
piece
different
of
things though.
bacon.
Because that's like
Okay,
completely different kinds of sausage. It's similar bacon, but it's completely different kinds of sausage.
how so?
Because like breakfast sausage is like seasoned sweet. It's different seasoning, right? So like
Mm,
sausage is ground pork and seasoning, and like the seasonings are completely different, and they cause the pork to cure differently, so they have different flavors.
okay.
Yeah, it's
So I'm curious then, and this is going on the podcast, by the way. Don't
yeah,
know,
no, and I gotta include
we're
the
out of
pizza.
cut land at this
So
point.
I was, yeah, no, we had the cut so I could refill my drink, and then we started talking about pizza toppings, and it's a VIBECAST, so we're like,
We're
we're
throwing
going
this
at it.
in now.
But yeah, no, yeah, like sausage as a pizza topping, yes, I would say is superior to bacon. Just because, like,
Okay,
I don't think bacon is meaty enough for it. Bacon is a great secondary flavor on pizza, but and like low key, even though I like bacon more than pepperoni, I think pepperoni is like a better pizza meat than
then
bacon.
bacon.
Yeah,
So you'll take sausage and pepperoni over like anything.
I would rather just have sausage, but yeah, I would take sausage. If someone offered me a sausage and pepperoni slice of pizza, I would take it
It's just
without
like I'm gonna eat it.
without a blink. Yeah, yeah, no,
Okay,
definitely.
but
Um,
like we're sitting down, we're going to a quality breakfast place. I'm sorry,
that to
10
me,
times out of 10,
that's
I gotta get the bacon.
it depends. If I'm eating like an omelet or like eggs on the side, sausage.
In the omelet.
In the omelet, I do bacon. I do bacon in the omelet, but
Okay, but on the side,
sometimes
you
though,
want. I got
sometimes
you. I
I'm
got you.
not, I'm not, I'm not afraid to do a double meat omelet though. I'll do a bacon and a sausage
I mean,
omelet.
yeah.
I've
I
done that
respect that.
before, but like, I also think it depends like if I'm in a restaurant or if I'm cooking at home. Because to me, fresh made sausage takes as good as bacon and is way easier to make, way easier to store, and not as messy to make.
So you said fresh made is in the sense of you're in the kitchen and you just make some
Yeah, I'm
sausage and you're
like
like, I'll take these.
I
Sick.
have they are raw pork. They're pre-made, like it's not like I'm making the sausage by hand, right? But it's raw pork, it's pre-shaped patties, but sometimes I get like the patties I have to
The
shake.
like tube thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes I get that. If I'm making like breakfast burritos, I get the tube. But
I respect that.
yeah, dude, I've gotten so into cooking. I am gonna be Action Bronson in 2 years.
I was literally
Like,
about
dude,
to say
I
Action
am
Bronson.
I am like if you like crossbred if Action Bronson and Belly DNA digivolved with
DNA Digivolved. Wow. Wow, bro. You're lying. You're lying. There's no shot you just said. There's no way.
I say that all the time. Whenever
There's no
that's my
way,
favorite
bro.
thing. Like whenever I say, like want to say like,
Nah.
oh, if we mix those two things, I say, so if those two things DNA
Nah.
digivolved, like,
There's no shot.
dude, I say that.
This-
I say that all the time at work, and they get so annoyed at me.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh, so it's like the idea is DNA digivolved. It's like, yeah, Brandon, like whatever.
They just like, shut up, Brandon. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just drop it. I don't even.
I say that all the
There's-
time. I'm
there's
kind of
no
shocked.
way this is
I'm low key kind of shocked that this is my first time saying that on the podcast. If I'm being honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know what I expected. I would have taken like Pokemon Evolution if anything. Just
I like the
DNA
Digimon show
Digimon.
more.
That's a take. I will give you that. That's a take.
Yeah, that's don't get me wrong. The Pokemon games were always superior. Like that's just fact.
Right.
And Yu-Gi-Oh had the best card game.
I absolutely.
I mean, besides Magic the Gathering, but I'm a massive
Yu-Gi-Oh.
no, dude. Magic the Gathering is insane.
I don't even know what that is, if I'm being honest.
Yu-Gi-Oh was a rip-off of Magic the Gathering. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh is its own thing. Like I'm not trying to devalue it, but like it is very clearly like it's very similar. And Magic the Gathering came first.
Which one was cooler though, in reality? Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Show
Oh
was dope.
God. See, to me though, like I always saw Magic because I actually like played Magic the Gathering when I was like 16, 17 sometimes, like at card shops. Because I'm a giant fucking nerd. Like I'm a nerd.
Say rip those,
dude. I don't care. I still have Magic cards in my room. I've met so many of my favorite people through playing Magic. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
So
I mean, I'm not mad at you at all.
To me, like if you walk, like so because I was in that environment, like if you go, like see people playing Magic the Gathering, like they're kind of normal people. Like, you know, like the people who play Yu-Gi-Oh, to me, and my perception, were always like kind of like it was always more children, and it was always more like weird. Like,
I mean, hey, I'm
you
not
know,
mad at
so
you.
like
There's a lot of communities like that.
So like if you ask me which one's cooler, I'm like Magic the Gathering easy. Like,
Interesting.
you know, and the other thing is, and you know this about me, I'm like a sucker for like the fantasy genre, and like Magic the Gathering is all like, it's a little sci-fi, but it's all like fantasy. You know, it's like knights and elves and sorcerers,
Right.
and I just love that
The
shit.
way you just said sorcerers. Oh man,
A sorcerer.
Yes.
We should play Skyrim. We should play. We should
No.
We should have an Unpaid Nobody's Skyrim stream, but we only pick up our file when we're interviewing top level rappers and asking them what we should do in Skyrim. Like,
I was literally gonna say, look, I am all down for doing some gaming streaming and just press live and just go for it. But I don't know if it's gonna be Skyrim.
oh my god.
We'll
Have you ever
settle for
played
Fallout.
Skyrim? Have you ever played Skyrim?
I tried playing Skyrim. Skyrim is massive.
It is massive. It is massive, but it's so good.
Fair.
It's so good.
Well, I've never played Legend of Zelda, so
I hate you for that. I hate
yeah,
you
you'll
for
be all
that.
right.
Dude, Legend of Zelda is the Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever.
I
Ever made.
know.
Ever
I'll
made.
get to it eventually.
Ever made. I whenever anyone's like, "Oh, God of War 2018, best game of its generation," I'm like, Breath of the Wild, easy.
Really?
Not even close, in my opinion.
Over everything?
I'll give it this: God of War definitely has a better story. Like Zelda is very open world, stumble upon the story, kind of a fairy tale kind of thing. So I'll give God of War that, like the story, but like as a game as a whole, to me, not even close.
Okay.
And I love God of War. I love that game. I'm a fan of that game. But
I mean, that's saying a lot, especially considering like the platform as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, it has performance issues on the Switch. I'm not gonna lie to you. But like, don't care, dude. It's one of the best games I've ever played. Like, I think this week I'm gonna start a replay of it because the new one comes out in May.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now
I mean, I'm not mad at you. I feel like whenever people got a Switch when it first came out, it was either that or Mario Odyssey. So like,
yeah.
I picked Mario Odyssey.
Well, I got the Switch the day it came out. And Mario Odyssey was still like 9 months away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like I got it for Breath of the Wild. Like I love Mario Odyssey. Like I love that game's dope, but
oh yeah.
No, not even close. Breath of the Wild. Like
I'm gonna have to check it out.
yeah, dude, highly recommend. Do it tonight.
Bro, no. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Remake. Brandon, the nostalgia feeling. I've had to like pause the game.
Yeah.
Like that's how intense like the feelings are, and like thinking back to the PSP days. Oh, it's such a good game. It's been a great year.
I have a question for you. Would you buy a PSP if they made like a new PSP with like modern, like graphics?
Ooh.
Like if it was like a Switch and you basically got to play like PS4 games on the go.
Brandon, that's tough. That's tough. Like knowing us, I'm gonna buy it. If you're saying like, oh, it's a thing and like, oh, it's coming out, you know me, I'm going to buy it. I just don't know if I'll actually have time to really appreciate it like I should.
Yeah.
But like, that would be insane.
That would be insane. All right, let's get to the Herbert review because
yeah, this isn't even a hip hop podcast anymore.
It doesn't matter.
All
right, so Herbert came out, the latest by Ab-Soul. Second week in a row, we got a TDE release.
Yeah, they're almost seems like they're rushing. It's like pushing it out at the end of the year,
which is kind of crazy because like I would not describe this or SOS as rushed at all.
Oh no! I'm sure that both of the artists have been working on it for quite some time, but yeah, we get two pretty big projects of the year, I would say.
Yeah.
At least in terms of either skill or impact. Yeah. At the end of the year, it's kind of weird coming in September or December, mid-December.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it honestly. It grew on me over time. I've listened to it about 2 or 3 times. I guess before diving into it, what's your surface level thoughts? How did you feel about it coming into it?
My surface level thoughts is that I liked it. I didn't love it.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, I thought there were definitely some really strong highlights, some genuinely top songs of the year. I am a fan of Ab-Soul. I'm a fan of like the subject matter he constantly is broaching, especially on this project. I think he handles some really tough subject matter in a very, very respectable, like in a really interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
And not even the obvious stuff, like a bunch of stuff throughout the album.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, a lot of the album just left me very bored. I gotta be honest, like, especially the first half. The second half, I think, is much better.
Yes, that is one thing I have in common because I remember, I don't know how we ended up doing this, but we ended up listening to this on the exact same night, I think, or the exact same day.
I finished it today. Once again, like, and this, say what you will, it took me a few days to get through this because, like, it was just a slog for me. And like there are highlights up top. Like don't get me wrong. Like there are some songs in the first leg of the album that I do really like, but
it gets better at the end. It does.
It definitely gets better at the ends. But to me, it's just like there's very I don't with a couple exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's many like weak moments on the album. Maybe one or two.
I think,
but I don't think it's. So I think in terms of like, oh, is everything above a certain level of quality? If we're talking about consistency in that regard, yes, I think it's consistent in that regard. I think everything is at least good.
Okay.
But I think like the variation track to track in terms of just like how into it I was, it swung kind of wildly.
Yeah. I will say coming into it, I was on the same page. The beginning of it was satisfying enough to keep me going.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I like this part of the song. I like this like one verse. I like this one sound. And it would carry me along. But as I got further into it, around I would say maybe track 6 or 7 is when I was like, okay, I really, really am like enjoying this album.
Yeah.
And then I feel like an extreme weak point personally was Personal Vibes Only with the auto tune. I hated it. So I think the album didn't have the best ending.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I liked the closing track. I thought the
closing track was good.
Gotta Rap I thought was really good. I really liked Gotta Rap, but It Be Like That and Positive Vibes Only I thought were and Church on the Move. No, it was I liked It Be Like That. I'm crossed a little bit.
Okay.
Church on the Move was the one where I was like, this is annoying. Right? And well, no, just the delivery of it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it was a rare miss. Like once again, I think most of this album is above a certain level, and a lot of it is great.
I think at least what I was taking away from it, the same way I kind of treated Isaiah Rashad last year.
Yeah.
I love The House is Burning, but it's a very like moody vibe kind of album. It's something you play when like you're in the mood or like something you're playing in the background to kind of push you through it.
Yeah.
This is kind of how I looked at it, where I think because it's Absol and because I know what Absol is known for historically, I went in very deep, almost too deep.
Yeah.
Like I was looking for a deeper message, some insane lyrics. Basically, what Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is.
I feel that.
And he doesn't go directly into that, but it still brings a really good sound to it. And when I started like actually just like vibing with it, then I like enjoyed it much more. I think, and I kind of brought this up earlier, I think him releasing it in December is ultimately going to backfire because I didn't get to appreciate it as much as I should have before the year ended.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of came out at a quiet time. And the thing I think is interesting, if you look at release histories, December sometimes it's a quiet time and sometimes it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like generally movies are pretty like Thanksgiving and like Christmas are really big movie weekends. And I do remember some years where we just got an avalanche in December. You know, I think
right, and just entertainment in general.
Yeah, and I think about like 2016 where we got Awaken My Love, Starboy, Run the Jewels 3, like, and the J. Cole's album, For Your Eyes Only, all in like 3 weeks in December. Right, so December can be stacked, but this year it does it. It just seems like there's the 2 big albums.
Yep, there's really not much.
So
there's 3 albums that came out this month. That's it.
Yeah, and one of them is NBA YoungBoy. Like,
it is not NBA YoungBoy. The other one is Metro Boomin.
Oh yeah, whatever. But yeah, and I think I like that it has a lot of room to breathe because once again, it's dealing with a very heavy subject matter. Now, let me ask you, like, what are your top tracks from the album?
Some of my top tracks from the album, Moon Shooter was a really high one for
I
me.
liked Moon Shooter a lot. Like
Yeah.
and what's funny is this is one I've listened to a few times.
Okay.
Cause I got this far. I got to FMOF my first time trying to listen to it.
Hmm.
And then cause I think the first two tracks are fine, but just kind of like, nothing crazy. But I like Hollandaise and Moon Shooter. And believe it or
Hmm.
not, I actually think I like Absol on that significantly more than Joey Badass. I know Joey Badass is one of my golden boys,
Hmm.
and I think he did an absolutely good job.
Yeah.
But gotta say, I preferred Absol on it.
Yeah. I agree. Like I said, Moon Shooter is definitely one of my highlights. I think that's one of the
Yeah,
first really, really good songs on it.
yeah.
Um, Believe it or not, I didn't like Do Better as much as I thought I would, even though that was a single beforehand. Um, Gangnam was the first one that clicked, if I'm being honest.
I liked
Like
Gang of
once
Them
I
a
hit
lot. Yeah,
Gangnam, that's when I was like, oh wait, this
yeah.
album's really good. Like, like
So
this feels really good.
Hollandaise and Moon Shooter gave me a good. I was like, okay, I really like those two songs, and I do. I really like Hollandaise and
Mm,
Moon Shooter. And then Do Better, I kind of like. I kind of
That's a
vibed
card.
with, yeah. Gang and Them though, that's like the first great song.
Right. That
So
is
good.
a top tier song. That's one of
Yeah.
the best songs on the album.
I think that 3 track run, I think is really strong. Because the Wild Side gets real close to being annoying, but I don't think it's quite there.
Hmm.
Janae Aiko is great on it. Did it right this time. Uh and the artist seduction I thought was super interesting because it was something I related to. Like
Oh really?
just like having to learn how to interact with women when you're not the typically attractive male. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
that's a perspective I really liked. And then
Yep.
Bucket was fine. It kind of was wallpaper for me. Uh,
Bucket was wallpaper. I liked it, but but wallpaper is definitely the right word
yeah,
for it.
Go Off is really good except for when it's not.
Bro, like I'm pretty sure this is one of the few texts that I sent you. I was like, why is Russ on this song?
Dude,
I'm normally not.
Russ is ass. Russ is another one
I
where it's like he's just not good. And I don't think you've ever given me any pushback on Russ.
I haven't really given you any real pushback on Rush. There are some Rush songs that I genuinely do enjoy. Um,
Boo.
but this actually pissed me off, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the few moments I text you where I was like, "Why is Russ on this song? This song is so good, except for the middle of the song."
Yeah.
Big Sean, snap! This
Oh
was a
yeah, no, Big
classic
Sean did
Big
great.
Sean verse.
Big
This is one of the
Sean
best
showed
Big
up.
Sean's best verse I've heard in a
Oh,
while.
easy, 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 easy.
Like he
Uh,
went off, and then the rest
uh,
ruined.
yeah. And then Fallacy's okay. Herbert's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I loved Herbert.
Herbert's like this is again. This should be the title track. I feel like if everything's wrapped up in one song, Herbert is the message.
Yeah, no, definitely a good example of like putting the creative eggs in the right basket for this album.
Hmm. So
Love.
you said you didn't like Church on the Move.
No, I thought it was very annoying, and it has literally nothing to do with like the concept of church or anything like that. It's just I thought the delivery was just really really annoying.
Okay. I can't really tell how I felt. I didn't like Church on the Move at first. It kind of grew on me over time.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest, the only one that I really didn't like is Positive Vibes Only. Like I said, I think the auto tune is terrible.
Yeah, I think those are the two that annoyed me the most. And then once again, uh, the Wild Side gets a little close to it, but not really.
Hmm.
And look, I guess my last question for you, because the other thing is I just don't feel a whole lot about this album. I think like it talks a lot about Absol's suicide attempt,
Hmm.
and I feel for the guy, and he really, on the songs where he talks about that, it's heart wrenching. So I want to I think he approaches that stuff super, super well. And even though I'm like walking away from this album, like, yeah, I liked it, I didn't loved it. I don't think it diminishes any love I got for Absol going forward. I've always thought of him as a pillar in hip hop, and even though I absolutely think he can do way, way, way better, you know, I think he could have an entire album of Gang and Thems.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no reason why he couldn't. You know, and this is the album he had to make. I respect it. You know, my grade is not too like negative, I would say, but you know that's kind of my thing. Is that I just don't see it as anywhere even close to his potential, and I think like even he can even exceed that. And you know, I just would have liked a little more. That's all.
I think that's fair to say. It's actually one of the few topics I was going to bring up was around like just legends or quote unquote legends. Because, like you said, I think Absol has a right to earn the title as a pillar within like some of the artistry of the genre.
Yeah.
And you get people like him. We've talked about Lupe in this episode.
Yeah.
We've talked about Freddie Gibbs in this episode.
Yeah, they're all pillars. You know, they're not
right. All of them kind of play their own role in terms of like building up the next generation or expanding where the music can go.
Yeah.
Because I know coming into this, the conversation we had beforehand, I kind of like the album a little bit more than you. I feel like, but you kind of just spoke to it a little bit. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. You said,
yeah, that's true.
I feel like legends nowadays, as long as they're still putting out decent quality, I'm here for it. I will always support these people.
Yeah, look, it is not even. It is 3 time zones away from being disappointing.
Right.
You know, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's far from that, but I also just don't think it's. I might have to do a deep dive into Absol's like entire thing because I really want to revisit his last album, and I would have to see if this is his best or not. It might be, but you know, I think that's more.
Tough.
Yeah, it's tough. He has, you know, his discography. It's a little puzzling because his discography is really strong, like it really is. But at the same time, like I don't think he's reached his full potential.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't think I've heard the Absol project where it's like, no, he can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, because for the ones that do know and the ones that have been following Absol for a while, like Control System these days, Do What Thou Wilt, they wasn't always the most popular albums out there. They didn't attract the biggest fan base. But like if you knew who Absol was, you knew good quality music.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting it's a good perspective or a good point that you just brought up. What is his actual peak? Like these are all debatable, I guess, in terms of like, can this be a classic? But like, they're not actually classics that you're going to bring up.
I don't think he has one. Like, I don't.
Right, exactly.
I would have. Look, and like, I'm a fan of Absol, but like, I'm not a super fan. So I would probably defer to someone who would call themselves that to like get that information. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his peak is. I think in some ways this is it, but not. I'm not 100% sure. I just don't think I have the ability to answer that question right now.
I'm curious, how old is Absol?
Oh, I think he's on the older side.
I mean, I know he is, but I'm curious, like, because obviously it's not like we're talking about a sport. Oh, someone's got to retire; they're getting too old. But like, Eminem's got to stop rapping eventually. So let's see how old this man is.
When did you start listening?
35.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Freddie Gibbs is 40. Jesus.
Yeah.
Schoolboy Q's 36.
Yeah, I knew he was up there. By the way,
we're gonna have to turn this into a game one day.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I watched a Murs video the other day about. I really think this could be a topic we could do in January. And he talks about, and this video is about like 6-7 years old. He talks about like artists over 40.
Okay.
And it just blows my mind how like fuck, dude. Like even like now, like 6-7 years later, like there are so many compelling artists right now who are like 40, 50. Because that's
Lil
the thing.
Wayne's 40.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj is 40.
Yeah.
What?
I know Killer Mike and LP are both 45. Like,
what?
I think who is the other one? Anderson .Paak. I think he's like also fairly old.
Hold on, bro. Stop. Let me do a very quick search.
Yeah.
Who's over 40? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna just start spit taking. Puff Daddy, 50.
Yeah. Obvious.
50.
That's
Busta Rhymes, 48.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Juicy J, 45. Am I dead? Like, MF Doom would have been 49.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott, 49. IJ 3000, 45.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kanye's 42.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Have I been this, like, blind?
Yeah, dudes get old.
I'm just saying, like, when I say these names, these are people you grow up with, like, you don't really think of them being, like, Q-Tip being 50, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's someone who, like, I consider old. Snoop Dogg, 48, that makes sense to me. I don't think of Kanye West 6 years younger than Snoop Dogg. That doesn't connect to me. Anyway, I'm sorry.
This was a bit of a... I was like, Purvis, I'm trying to go eat dinner. Are we going to do the how old are rappers game
yes,
much longer?
Yes, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, what grade are you giving this album, Herbert, by Absol? Like,
I'll go to B.
Oh, really?
Honestly,
because that's what I'm giving it. I'm giving it a B, not a B minus, but a B.
No. It's a good album.
It's a good album.
It's a good album.
It's a good album.
Not many flaws.
It's got a few flaws. I don't think.
That's what I said.
I don't think it's like truly bad at any points, but it's got some flaws. But it's good, you know. And yeah, as much as you can grade any album, I gotta give this one like a good solid a B. I'm giving it a B. I felt like a B minus, but that felt too harsh to me.
Yeah, I don't think it.
Yeah,
because like I don't towards like a C plus B minus, then you're edging towards like
C plus is just a little bit better than average, you know. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I said like once you get to that area, it's like is this actually really good?
Yeah,
or am I kind of giving it some leeway?
Yeah. Well, all right. Do you want to do our Rex and then get out of here? And
yeah, you ready?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, I'm doing all Christmas stuff. I'm just gonna
Sick.
let you know right now.
I got a Christmas Rec.
Gucci Mane, Saint Brick intro. It's obvious.
Okay, yeah, no, that's
it's obvious.
You got me right there. All right, so first rec I wanted to do like I thought like, oh, should I do more Christmas stuff? But like my recs are actually pretty solid.
Okay.
So like pretty like I'm doing all of them for a specific reason. So I'm recommending a Chris Crack song, the guy who opened for Freddie Gibbs.
Okay.
I really want to recommend Therapy Don't Work, Try Drugs.
Wow.
Yeah. And I highly recommend watching the video, especially if you're like from the Chicagoland area. It's like shot like in the Logan Square Target, which I've been to a million times.
That's amazing.
So it's cool. The sample on it is incredibly good. I want you to listen to this right after we hang up this podcast.
Okay.
And right after you watch the third thing I recommend.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Second thing I'm gonna do, Run the Jewels. You know, your favorite.
That was my Christmas one.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah, Christmas fucking miracle. Yeah.
All right, so we got the same song recommendation. Yeah. Was that your second one as well?
No, I was gonna do that third. But
right,
I
well,
guess
I'm gonna lock you in.
I guess no
for your
second.
third one.
Run the Jewels, Chris's fucking miracle. I thought you'd let me have that one, knowing it's like whatever. But
I told you I'm doing it Christmas.
I knew. I thought you would do like "Hey Mama" or something like.
Just you wait.
But yeah, Run the Jewels, Christmas Miracle. That was my second one too. God damn it, Purvis.
Well, I'm just.
But let me bring this up. Let
me
me say the thing I wanted to say though, because like the thing I love about this song is that how like the lyrics are just like not Christmassy at all. It's just like a real song.
No, it is. It's literally just titled Christmas.
Well, the beat has the bells.
Yeah,
but have you seen the video for it?
No, do tell.
Oh my god, it's extremely Christmassy. It's like concerningly Christmassy. I am not. You gotta watch it tonight, dude. It's 2 nights before Christmas. You gotta watch this video.
Okay, I will most definitely watch the video.
It also has. There's one scene in it where Mike and Elle have like some of the best winter drip I've ever seen in my life. Like holy shit, this is what I want to dress like from January to March. Like,
bet I'm gonna have to watch the video.
Yeah,
I didn't get my style. Lock it in for the winter.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hey Ma and Chance the Rapper, it's not gonna be Hey Ma, but I'm doing Chance the Rapper all the way from the Christmas mixtape.
What was it? It was like
Jeremiah.
What it was like, Little
So
Mama.
good.
Merry Christmas, Little Mama. I was listening to that.
Yep.
I have it on SoundCloud.
It's so good.
That's a fun little
so
Christmas mixtape. It's very good. Salt on the street, Tim's on my feet. Like,
absolutely love it. If you're at home chilling with the family, making a gingerbread house, whatever you're doing, throw it on the TV. Have a good Christmas, man.
It's a fun time. It's a fun time. So I hate to un-Christmas it up for a second.
Oh Lord.
Okay. Well, no, because I just wanted to recommend this song because it is the most listened to song I've listened to this year that didn't come out this year. So it's not going to get brought up in the end of the year special. But I wanted to recommend it just because it's a popular TikTok sounds, and it is probably one of the best choruses ever, like of all time. It is an all-time great chorus.
You are hyping this up.
It is the most vibey song ever written. It makes After Hours seem like amateur hour. Like
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm recommending After Dark by Mr. Kitty.
By Mr. Kitty.
Yeah. I think I've recommended the artist before because there were other songs I like by him.
Mm-hmm.
It's very synthy, very vibey, but like it was my most listened to song of the year, so I wanted to recommend that. Just knowing because like it's been at the top of like my rotation list every month.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't come up in my Spotify Wrapped because I split it between Tidal. I didn't start listening to it till I was on Tidal, so I didn't discover that artist until like April. So
okay, I recognize it. I just played it.
Yeah,
this is the TikTok sound. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible song. It also is like something I noticed about lo-fi music is it works so well in the backgrounds, and I think this song kind of has that property. There's like you can find like hour, 2 hour, 10-hour long loops of it, and like sometimes I do that, like just put that song on because it's just like the chorus is just so catchy.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah,
undeniable.
All right, guys,
we made it.
Well, guys, I guess this is it. Next time you see us, you'll be seeing us.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Enjoy your family, your gifts.
Yeah.
Etc. etc.
Be with yourself. Be with your family. Be with the people you love. Be grateful. I'm
always
gonna go have a big family dinner, and then play video games for 9 days until we do our end of the year special.
Just know. I will probably be doing something around the same time.
I told my mom because I'm like, Mom, this year I just spent all my money on Rachel. Can I please just get video games? And she's like, sure, that makes sense. Like,
thank you. I need this.
Yeah, she's like, okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Like,
this shall be your gift. You
deserve
this.
Well, that's the thing you cut out when you get a significant other. All
It's
right.
true. It is true.
All right, everyone. Merry Christmas from the Unpaid Nobodies.
Jesus died for our sins.
Okay, stop it, Purvis. I'm editing that part out.